Hello everyone, welcome to Matic TV, welcome to tonight's live stream. Yes, another live show. I couldn't get through an end of season chat just before these Euros started without getting one of our favourites, Elizabeth, back on the show. We all know Elizabeth is a big Chelsea fan and we've got loads to talk over. A lot has changed since we last spoke. I'll bring up some of the stuff we were talking about beforehand and see how much has actually completely 180 or not in terms of what has gone on these last couple of months, because they've been mental for both clubs. Elizabeth, first of all, thanks for coming on again. How is everything? How's life in Madrid? Is it family all well? Everything getting back to some form of normality yet there?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I honestly don't remember where we were at last time we talked. So it will be interesting to see that, but yeah, Madrid is good. It's starting to get really freaking hot. I'm already sweating, and it's like normal, but with masks everywhere, so it's okay. I can't complain, and yeah, it's super cool. Hi, Ron.
There's going to be plenty of them comments coming in. Elizabeth, first of all, I have to say it's sort of bittersweet in a way, but congratulations on the Champions League final. You did help an awful lot of United fans week out when you beat City a couple of weeks ago, because obviously we had the horrific night in Poland, in Gdansk on the Wednesday, and then we was all fearing the worst, Elizabeth. We're thinking surely Chelsea cannot beat City 3 times in a row, but you guys absolutely, from what I've seen, Elizabeth, it was a tactical masterclass. You must still be buzzing right now.
Oh, 1,000%. It's still sinking in, because I just couldn't believe it. After the semifinal where we beat Real Madrid and Mason Mount scored in the 88th minute or whatever it was, I started bawling because I was like, I can't believe I'm about to witness Chelsea go to a Champions League final. That's absolutely insane. And then when Kai Havertz scored, I was like, oh my God, it could be. And everybody was saying we were the underdogs ahead of the game. And I felt, maybe being a Chelsea fan, I felt like City had so much control, and I was like, oh, they're going to score. But I think if I rewatched it, I would see more of a neutral fan perspective. I do feel like Chelsea did have good control in that game. And yes, City did have a lot of attack, but they really didn't create much. I think they had maybe one shot on target or something like that the entire game. So
that shows you there, though. That shows you there. You were that carried away with excitement. You only realised that City had one shot on target.
Yeah, exactly. Because every time they had the ball, I was like, oh my God, they're going to score. I can't watch this. But really, I think a lot of people are talking about, Pep messed it up. He didn't have a DM playing. He overthought it again against Chelsea. But I don't think enough people are saying, well, Thomas Tuchel actually got it extremely right as well. That's 3 times that he's beaten Pep Guardiola in the span of 6 weeks, which is just absolutely insane.
I mean, we did well. Ollie did well against Pep last season. I think we beat him quite a few times, but in such a short space of time, with so much riding on Chelsea more than City in every single game, I think, because even the league game, City have pretty much put the title to bed, and Chelsea needed it more. That Panenka penalty for Maguire, I mean, it all just seemed to work well for Chelsea, but like I said then, Elizabeth, I mean, and guys, if you want to know, that thumbnail picture of Elizabeth was actually of the night that they actually won the Champions League. That was the instant reaction. That's what that face is. And you know what? We'd all be exactly the same. But I mean, when we spoke last time, Elizabeth, you guys were in 9th. We're talking about Chelsea just solidifying a top 4. Yeah. Tuchel picking a certain team just to get into that top 4 because he was playing some players that a lot of Chelsea fans weren't agreeing with. But what United fans, I think, envy more is the fact that Tuchel's come in and done this in the space of 4 or 5 months.
4 months.
Turned what was you guys were just falling further behind, and a complete turnaround. Last time we spoke, we couldn't really judge Tuchel, but right now as a Chelsea fan, where are you at with Tuchel? happy that he signed this new deal as well. Is this the start of something big again with this young squad that you've already got building?
Oh man, I'm trying to form like coherent sentences, honestly, because I'm just like super happy and excited for him. I mean, just what he's done with this team, you know, you had people that found themselves on the outskirts like Antonio Rudiger, Jorginho, Christensen. I'm trying to think if there was anybody else.
I think Rudiger was the biggest one wanted, really.
Yeah, and he's like really incorporated them back into the team. And when that first happened, I was like, why is he playing these players? But they've really proved me wrong, and they've had incredible games. They've shown a lot of grit. And what I think is so surprising, or what I think is the thing that speaks the most about Thomas Tuchel, that Chelsea haven't been competitive in the Champions League in like 7 years. Like, we have failed to get past the round of 16, I think, since 2014, something like that. So for him to go on and then just win the Champions League and even do it convincingly, like, we looked so strong against Atletico, we looked so strong against Porto. Real Madrid, we had an expected goals of like 5 or 6. Like, if we have more clinical goal scores, we could have easily beaten them like 5-0, which speaks loads. And then to go ahead and win the entire thing is just absolutely insane. So I think so many Chelsea fans are just over the moon with his new contract. And at least for myself, he's already a Chelsea legend for winning the Champions League. And if he goes on to achieve great things next season, he's probably going to be one of the best, like competing with Mourinho.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were right on the cusp of a season of such promise and brilliant end like you did get. At one point, it could have all gone seriously wrong. I think with us United fans, I think we were always comfortable. Champions League football was secured. We've had it for months now, pretty much. Us and City 1 and 2, barring complete meltdown, but everyone else was losing points. And even on the last day of the season, Elizabeth, even Spurs were doing you a favour to get you in there. You just lost to Leicester in the FA Cup. It could have been so different in the space of a week.
Yeah. No, and that's an amazing point, because I think a lot of Chelsea fans, including myself, were like super high because we were winning all of these games and we were doing really well in the league. And then all of a sudden we lose to Arsenal, and it was an incredibly stupid loss as well, because it was just an error, a Jorginho error that almost led to an own goal, and then they just like rebounded off of it. But other than that, Arsenal did nothing, and Arsenal have been having a terrible season this year. They really haven't done much. So for us to lose against Arsenal, and then I was thinking, well, a blip was going to happen. That's fine. Rebound against Leicester in the FA Cup final. And then to have like a really dreadful performance against Leicester as well, it was demoralizing, and I was worried, like, we have to play City in the Champions League final in 1 week, and we've just lost 2 games in a row. And then, you know, we had a really good game against Leicester in the Premier League, but then again, you have the Premier League in your hands. You just have to win against Villa. And again, we just looked not consistent. Also, I think like that's the one thing with this Chelsea side. They sometimes look incredible, amazing, and unbeatable. And then sometimes they just look like they could play for, I don't know, hundreds of minutes and not be able to score goals. So going into the final, I was worried. And I think that that's one of the reasons why Chelsea are looking to sign a player like Erling Haaland over the summer. I don't know if it's going to be able to get done, but to help with the goals, because we really don't score many goals.
That's it. I mean, you look at it right now, you look at United and Chelsea. A lot of people would say, good seasons. If you offered both clubs this end of the season at the start of it, I think we would have both probably snatched your hands off Chelsea more. But looking at it right now, I think United fans, and I want to get your opinion on the United side of it as well, Elizabeth, looking at the way the team is, the way it's gone, because I'll tell you now, looking at how Chelsea performed and how they've dealt with the big occasions and the big teams, the end of the season was crazy. Anyone could have lost to Leicester. Villa, that was probably the biggest slip up you guys made, but I'm kind of thinking that with so much going on, that's heads weren't quite in it there. But I look at Chelsea right now under Tuchel, with Abramovich above him, the investment will be there. I see Chelsea as title contenders now. Yeah. United finished second, way ahead of Chelsea. How do you see United? Because I've got a feeling it's not the same feeling, because we're being laughed at by a lot of opposition fans right now as a false position, being second in the league. I know the league never lies. It was such a weird season. No one had picked Chelsea for the Champions League, but no one thought that Tuchel was going to be coming in with 4 months of the season left and doing what he's done. Looking at it from Chelsea to Manchester United right now, how do you see how United are looking right now? Does it worry you into next season that about our team and how we're actually building or looking to invest? Or is it a case of Chelsea are that confident right now in the fan base, you're thinking, right, the next step is the challenge for this title again and win the title back?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So as a Chelsea fan, I think that the next step, we're kind of thinking we've just won the Champions League. Now we want to go and win the Premier League and compete again in the Champions League, right? And the idea is kind of like to close the gap. Now you have a year with the team playing together. So all of these players that were new, like your Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, etc., they have a year under their belts and they can, have more time to be accustomed to the Premier League. So maybe sign a player and close the gap between, like you said, a United and a City. Now, I see United, it's interesting because I feel like you guys have done pretty well in the league, but you haven't, won that much. And I don't know if I necessarily see Ole as, the person to win you those, massive games and be, a tactical masterclass. But I think that you guys have the talent. And if you sign Jadon Sancho, of course, I'm going to be worried because I think that he's a really special player. And I think he's probably going to go to United. I don't think you guys are going to let him go a second year. Don't
put it past us, Elizabeth. Anything's possible with our board and what we do when transfer windows come around.
But I'm interested to know what you kind of think about United's position going into the summer and knowing that City won the league. Maybe they'll get Harry Kane, you don't know, and Chelsea won the Champions League, and maybe they're going to... Chelsea's 2 main targets are Erling Haaland and Declan Rice. Whether those are going to happen, nobody knows. But I know that Abramovich is a big fan of both and wants to throw money at it. So
yeah, that's it. As a United fan, that's why I feel like we are looking at Chelsea as a bigger threat than us, who finished above everyone else, barring City. I mean, on paper, we look like we've had a good season. And if you're looking from the outside and you didn't watch a lot of United games, you would go, good season. Not bad at all. Most goals we've scored in a while. Like you saying, we're struggling for goals. We've got well over 100 goals in all competitions this season. So that side of things is not too bad for us. But the issue that United fans have got is it's that failing again on the big occasion. And it wasn't decent opposition for us to beat. We should have been winning that game easily. We should have been getting our hands on a trophy, and maybe the pressure would have been off. But right now, we're looking at it, and all he's got, for me, he's got this season to try and turn this around. But he's heaped that much pressure on himself now. We feel like this transfer window is going to be straight out for players that are just going to come straight into the team. There's no room to develop anyone anymore. There's no time to develop anyone. Whereas I think Tuchel's now bought himself a little bit of project time, in my mind. I think if he asked Abramovich for something, Abramovich would give it him. I think, and the fact that you said it then, if we could have had more goals to our game, we might have been challenging. If you swapped a Werner for a Haaland, then yeah, I'm starting to think, God, that's 2 teams we have to try and beat next season. Then we bring in Liverpool into it, who are stronger without even spending with the amount of injured players that are coming back. And then it's like the people in the comments said there. So as United fan bases, we're looking at 4th right now without even thinking about it. And that's just us being realistic. And we just come 2nd. And everyone's like, how can you be thinking like that? But that's just the vibe at the moment. And you can see in the Chelsea fan base, it's like, wow, we've hit the jackpot with this guy here. The squad are into him. It's a young squad. Maybe he can build and make these players even better, because it looks like he does make players better, which is what we don't have. And that, again, is a massive, massive worry. But I'll let you go first on this one, Elizabeth, and everyone in the comments as well, joining as well. You may want to do the Chelsea one as well as United one. But first of all, Elizabeth, player outs. Who is past it now at Chelsea? You've got, I'll give you 4 people. You can have 4. Chelsea have done a lot worse than someone's gone by. But 4 players right now it's time to move on. Who's your Chelsea for?
Oh, this is so hard. Well, can I pick players that I think are going to leave, but maybe I don't necessarily?
I'll tell you what you can do. Do a realistic one, and then do you think you're going to be cutthroat with this then? You think, right, that's it. We need to replace.
Okay, so one realistic one, and then 3 that I have to. Okay.
Yes, do for it. Go for that one. Realistically, who is going? You think who is obviously played his last game for Chelsea?
Realistically, I think Giroud is leaving. He
signed. Has he not just signed a new deal, but he's still going on loans.
I think that's so that they can get 5 million, 10 million, whatever it's going to be. I think it's like a gentleman's contract, basically. Because I think he's joining Milan. So I think he's probably going and wants to play more football than he's getting, which I don't blame him. And I'm sad because I think he's a fantastic player and I would love to keep him, but I do think that he's leaving. And then, well, I think that we should sell Kepa, but that's not going to happen because he is on ridiculous wages of 190,000.
You try having a keeper on 375. My God.
Yeah, I mean Chelsea's wages don't even compare to United's, but trying to sell him, and we paid like 70 million. Trying to get even a loan for our team to pay his wages is just really difficult. But I think I think that he has been pretty reliable as a backup, but you can't be paying your backup that much money, if that makes sense. So it's just like way too much of an investment personally. So I think Chelsea should try to offload him. As for center backs, I think probably Kurt Zuma. Like I think all of our center backs have their strengths and weaknesses, but out of the 4, like Kurt Zuma plays the least. So I think that we could potentially see him go, and I'm kind of like indifferent on him. I don't really mind. And like I think if the club could sell Jorginho, they should, which maybe comes as a shock to some. But if we sell Jorginho, maybe we get Declan Rice. And Jorginho's already getting old, and he has like really, really good games, but then he has games where he's not in it at all, and it can be like really frustrating. And he's already getting a bit older, so it's kind of like the prime time for you to get any return on him as a player, which Marina is always looking to do. So those are my 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all realistic. I think you've been playing Tactical Manager on the PC or something there, Elizabeth, haven't you? You've been you've been cluing up about it. I'll let you just answer this question from Keane first, actually, who's one of my regulars on this show. He says, question for Elizabeth. What are your thoughts on the progression of the Chelsea Academy recently, producing likes of Mount, Gilmore, Tomori, etc.? Do you think Tuchel will look to the academy? I mean, I think he's lucky that he's had that batch come through at this time, but I think there may be a couple in there that might not make the grade next season, Elizabeth. From what I've seen, I don't know how Gilmore comes in with the players that are already there unless someone else goes. And Tomori,
he's already been sold to Milan, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what he was on loan at first, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a loan.
Has that been made permanent now?
Yeah, it's a loan with an option to buy. So Tomori's left. Gilmore, I think it's going to depend on his preseason, because I think he's a really good player, and he's been thrown into games against Everton, against Liverpool last season.
He made the Scotland squad.
He did. He made the squad.
So he could actually make a name for himself in the Euros, couldn't he?
Yeah, he's only 19, but he is already such a mature player, and so I personally love Billy Gilmore. And I think if we see a Jorginho or a Kovacic leave, which I don't know if that's going to happen, but if you have one of those midfielders leave, I think Gilmore absolutely stays in the team. If they stay, it might be a little bit more difficult for him, and maybe he goes on a loan just to get game time, which would be good for him. And then Chelsea have a ton of academy players on loan this season, like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who I absolutely adore and got injured and just hasn't been the same since his injury. Mark Gurkey plays for Swansea, and he's coming back from a great season with them, so he's a center back that we could be looking to promote. Conor Gallagher is another good midfielder shout, but he's like a little young right now, so I don't think we're really going to see like any new advancements next season. Like I find the team a little bit stacked to get into, but just look at, I mean, Mason Mount and Reece James are nailed on starters at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're both nailed on for England personally right now. I don't see anyone else taking their spots. I think no one's playing as well as James at right back. I think he would have beat Trent anyway, even if Trent was in the squad. I do think he would have beat him. And Mount, well, say no more. It's just one of them. You're just like, oh, God.
22. You see his assist in the freaking Champions League final, and he's 22.
I know. And I was watching that centre-back you were talking about for Swansea in the playoffs. I watched the semi-finals and the final, and you're right about him as well. At such a young age, he was standing out in the final, even when Swansea got beat, as one of the best players on the pitch, which says a lot. But I'm looking at that going, gee, man, what Chelsea are going to spend, and then what they've already got in the academy. United really should be exactly the same. I'm more confident, but the big difference I think we've got, I'm going to do my 4 now, is the managers. I think it all comes down to the managers. It really does, because I think Ollie has had enough time. I don't think he's developed anyone. I don't think he's going to go out in the market this summer and buy foreign. By that, I mean players who are playing in other leagues around the world, unless they're top level. I'd say maybe Varane would fit that category. But I feel like he has to buy Premier League players because he cannot fail this season. Otherwise, he's out. I think we all know he's out. And he has to hit the ground running. And these players won't have time to come in and actually get used to the Premier League, because all he needs results now. He's wasted 2 years. He's not developed anyone. He spent 90 million last summer and not used it at all this season. So for me, the players that have to go for us, and guys in the comments, let me know on this one as well. The most realistic one is Juan Mata. I think giving the man a contract is just crazy. We don't need him. He doesn't come and do anything for us anymore. Brilliant, but we have to look ahead. It's time. I think Jesse Lingard, I think that's an obvious one. He's not going to get in the team, and he actually could make us some money. And he could take Declan Rice away from you, Elizabeth, if we did that. Play our cards right. And we're both fighting for a player.
West Ham as well. Chelsea have players as well that West Ham would want. Declan is a Chelsea boy. Like, come on. If he has the opportunity to choose, he's going to Chelsea with his BFF Mason Mount.
But you said it before, Elizabeth, the key could be that stupid wage structure at Manchester United. If United throw double the wage, I think Chelsea will bid more, but United will offer more in terms of a package. This is just what we do.
I think even if United more, he goes to Chelsea. I really do, because he will retire at Chelsea if he goes there. Like, he is a Chelsea boy. So
even if the bright lights of your local town, Madrid, came calling, no, would he not go still, like a lot do?
No. I was sent him back. That's not allowed. I think Chelsea and United look like better prospects, honestly. Like, Real Madrid have had a really bad season. Barcelona all over the place. So
Spain does not look good
Eden
right
Hazard
now,
and Courtois, they left Chelsea to go win the Champions League with Madrid, and Chelsea just won the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, case in point, Eden Hazard. I thought that guy was just destined for the top, and
sad.
Yeah, oh my days! I've never seen such a good player decline so quickly. It is freakishly, it's crazy. I just don't know how a player that good can be that bad all of a sudden. And that is, like you said, then Madrid just looks like a poison chalice right now. It looks like it's an impossible job for anyone. But what did I say? I said Mata, I said Lingard, David De Gea for me would go. I think he would get us money. And
he's a really good goalie, so it actually makes sense.
Yeah, I think Dan James is surplus to requirements as well, even though he's only been here 2 years. I do think, especially if Sancho comes in, then what's the point in Dan James? Plays on the same side. He's not going to take Rashford's place on the left. And this is, like I said, this is what Ollie's sort of dug himself into now. He's in an awkward situation. He's got a massive squad of average players. The first team will compete with anyone. But as soon as one of them drops out, we're struggling. I think, again, that's where Chelsea actually come in and top us in terms of actual strength in depth, because you guys have got players, apart from that front forward, for that centre forward, I think you guys have got quality all over the pitch. If I was Chelsea, I would probably look at the centre-back option as well, just to be ready for the season, because as well as they have played, I still don't rate most of Chelsea's centre-backs. Honestly, I don't think they're up to their full season.
Yeah, I would be nervous, like, if we go to a back four, because when we had played in a back four, I wasn't really sold on any of the center backs besides Thiago Silva and I thought Thiago Silva and Kurt Zouma looked really good. But I think in a back three, Tuchel has completely revolutionized them. But I would be more worried, I think, like for DM, because like we've seen Conte is already getting older. I think he's going to be 30 this year. He has to be managed. He can't play every single game. And then Jorginho and Kovacic kind of are like up and down. So I feel like you kind of need someone in that position.
Yeah. Keen there says Koundé has been linked with Chelsea. I mean, do you like Koundé as a player from Seville? He's one of these short centre backs. I think he's about 5'10" or something like that. And I'm not saying that's short, but in terms of centre backs,
for a normal person, is tall.
Yeah, I mean, do you know much of him? I mean, United know all too well what he's capable of from last season when they beat us in the Europa League as well. And he has had an all right season for Seville again this season. Do you know much of him? Would you see Koundé as a player that will strengthen your back line?
I honestly don't. I don't know enough about him to be able to say yes or no to if he would be good for Chelsea. But I don't think Chelsea really needs to be looking at center backs, and there's nobody that I really see like, oh yes, we definitely need to get as a center back. I think like we kind of said, McGurry, I think he could be promoted to the team, and that would be fine enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking there like a complete new spine, really, for Chelsea, the way your targets are working out. So that holding midfield, the centre back, and then a good centre forward would be changing quite a lot at the football club. But I think you've now nailed down the goalkeeping side of things. I think you've got that sorted. I do think that, again, the amount of players for each position at Chelsea is mind-boggling. It really is. Because I'm looking at Chelsea as having the strongest bench of any football team in the Premier League next season if they play the cards right. If they bring in the players that they're supposedly bringing in, then, I mean, it's hard to judge right now, but you cannot look past Chelsea as one of the favourites for the title for me. On that, Elizabeth, if you did buy a Haaland, a Rice, it's going to upset Keane in the comments because Keane thinks Rice should be going to United. Sorry, Keane. Elizabeth killed it. She's put water on the fire.
I don't know if Chelsea will put in a bid for Declan, but if we do, I think he would. And if West Ham accept, I think he would go. Yeah.
Do you think he would wait just to see after the other club put bids in just to see if Chelsea do come in?
I don't think so. I really, really don't. I don't. Somebody said she's wearing a wig for sure. Like, no, I'm not. Sorry. Like, how is this a wig? That's super rude. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, any mods, if you are looking at people making stupid comments, don't just look at them. Do your jobs as well, guys. Believe me, guys, if you look at the thumbnail, it's all the same. People, don't be stupid.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that's
no. Believe me, I've had a lot worse. But so, Elizabeth, them players coming in, I need you to tell me right now where you're finishing next season. Come on, don't be. You just won the Champions League, Elizabeth. Looking at buying some of the best quality that's out there. You've beaten the top two teams in Spain. You've beaten the best team in England. The only team you didn't get to play against was Bayern Munich, who may have been the ones that may have scuppered you, but your record with them still isn't horrendous. You've got to be confident, surely. Next season, where are you finishing?
I want to say first or second, but I don't want to be like, yes, we're definitely finishing first and then have like egg on my face. But I do think that Chelsea will challenge for the Premier League title, and it definitely depends who else strengthens. Like if City get Harry Kane that's just ridiculous. You know,
what about Kane and Grealish for City? Would you be worried then?
Oh, 1,000%. Like they already
not as much as me.
close the gap on them, and I think with a full season with Thomas Tuchel, we could perfectly do that. But yeah, I don't know. I think we could win it, but it depends how everybody else does as well.
You'd have thought that, eh? Do you think Lampard would have won the Champions League if he was still in charge?
No, I don't think we would have won it.
Oh, he was actually doing all right in the Champions League, wasn't he, though, to be honest?
Yeah, but the point that you are 9th in the Premier League, I think when he was sacked, we had like 5 out of 8 games or 6 out of 9. It was really, really bad. And I think you lose the dressing room. And I didn't see, what I was frustrated with is that I didn't see anybody, like any changes, you know, it's kind of like the same thing over and over again. And it just wasn't working. And it was clear that it wasn't working, you know. So I don't think that we would have gotten that far. And yeah, that's a very true comment as well. Like Liverpool had a bad season, but they're going to be, well, bad season. They came in 3rd, but you know, by the standards of Liverpool.
That's it. I mean, Neil O'Driscoll there saying Declan Rice, 80 million. Chelsea have him. Too much money, not worth that much. 50 million. I mean, Chelsea buy players like big clubs with money should buy them. They just make bids that the other clubs can't turn down. In the end, get the players in. And for some reason, Chelsea seem to be able to make money when they sell players as well. Something United have never done
Really?
And are incapable of doing, which is another bugbear of all United fans. But I think personally, I think you're right. I think 2nd. That's my prediction for Chelsea next season.
And who wins?
I do feel like there is more silverware though, because I think Tuchel's a sort of knockout master. He's just the guy that gets people to finals. Yeah, he didn't really do it at PSG, but I just feel like Chelsea 2nd, maybe an FA Cup. No one really retains the Champions League. It is a big ask. And with fans back in stadiums next year, I think it will be a little bit different as well. But I feel like if there's anyone who's sort of kitted out to challenge City right now, I think it's Chelsea more than anyone else. I think Liverpool will take a bit of time to get going again. And the one thing he can't do is give City a bit of a gap. Otherwise, they'll just take it away. I think Chelsea can keep up with him. I do feel like us, sadly, with everyone else, unless we really spend money, I do feel like we're going to be fighting for top 4. Maybe take a trophy. I don't know, because our form in cups and knockout competitions under Ole is abysmal. We seem to be all right getting there, but getting that job done is just a mental block for us. So I don't see us finishing higher than what we have this. Well, we finished higher. We've won the league, but I can't see that this season unless we spend an absolute fortune on players. And I mean, bringing in the best that there is out there. But next, I mean, guys, get your questions in as well in the comments. I'm just going to get into Elizabeth now. Your player, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I don't know if it's right, actually, because Lampard did bring a lot of these players in. But first of all, best player for Chelsea this season, Elizabeth, who has done it. But he has to have turned up a little bit for Frank as well. Not just in the Tuchel era.
Yeah.
Has been consistent all season for Chelsea. Who has done it for both and really who's shone and stood out?
Mason Mount. Without a doubt. Like, he's been one of the most consistent players for Chelsea. I think he has 9 goals and 8 assists in all comps, just 22, which is insane. Putting in man of the match performances, like, I think he's going to be Chelsea's next captain because he's just that good. And we saw a lot of players stop playing under Lampard, but he was never one of them. Even when we were playing badly, you could tell that he was giving 100% and 10% on the pitch. So I think, you know, he can play in many positions. He can play further back up the pitch. He can play further up of the pitch. He is a goal threat. That's even something that he's still working on. And like his vision, his ability to get into space is just so freaking good. So Mason Mount, I think he was already confirmed Chelsea's player of the season, like by the club. But he's my player of the season as well. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, dead cert to start in that England team this week.
I think he should be a starter, like Champions League winner, and he's
everyone every one of the
Incredible.
pundits I've listened to has said Mason Mount starts above
He
everyone else. He starts.
Nice.
I think he's the
Do you
best.
think that he starts?
I think who?
Do you think that he'll start?
I do, yeah. I would put him in my team. I would. I just think the composure on the ball is something that England have lacked drastically, especially coming out from the back. Our centre-backs, I'm not confident about. So if they're going to pass the ball out, I need someone who's going to be confident to take that ball and then the transition going forward. I think with our midfield and forwards, it has to be Mount. I mean, Declan Rice next to him, that's a scary thought because then all Chelsea might be getting ideas like you said. But it honestly looks like the best combo for me. But Bellingham, I think, could have a major say in this tournament. I think he has been one of the best English centre midfielders this season. He's gone right under the radar at Dortmund. And the fact that he has gone under the radar, I think, plays into his hands because he's not been hyped up. But then again, on the other hand, I think because of the criticism and the hype that Mason Mount has got, I think what you said there and what a lot of Chelsea fans saying, him getting player of the season, I think is a credit to him as well. I think he has deserved it for that as well as his performances on the pitch, because I've heard some absolute crap on the radio when I've been driving around about Mount. But I look at him on the pitch and I go, I've not seen it. All I'm seeing is maturity on young shoulders. Hello to hello to Hobby in the background.
Yeah. I was like, I hope he has pants on.
Yeah. But I mean, I would definitely play Mason Mount. Definitely play Mason Mount in my England team. I think he's like I said, that link from midfield to attack, I think he's key. I really do. And you've seen the fruits of it with Chelsea this season. So I'd be putting him straight in. I just don't know who else plays next to him.
I would just tell people who don't watch Mason like week in, week out, like when you watch him, I'm sure he's going to play at some point. Maybe he doesn't play every game in the Euros, but if he does play, just watch the spaces that he gets into, because he has this ability to just find space where nobody else does. And then that kind of opens up pass lanes and then creates space elsewhere on the pitch, and like kind of watch the Champions League final goal. That's just one example of it, but he's really, really good at doing that and just getting in between the lines, finding creative passes, pressing. He's good at it all. Yeah.
Hey, specs, I call husbands whatever I want, mate. It's my show, so settle down, okay? Oh God, I'm envious for the actual talent that England have got, but I've just got that horrible feeling again deep down we're going to go far, and then it's just going to be that maturity factor right at the end. I hope I'm wrong. But on that one, Elizabeth, I mean, confidence for the Euros. I mean, who's your pick? Who's standing out for you?
In England or in general?
No, in the whole thing. Which country? Which one's looking strong? I mean, I can't look past Portugal and France myself. I think they're the strongest. But anyone for you? Anyone standing out? How do you feel your chances are?
I think France are probably going to take it. Like, they're my pick. Their team is so strong. They won the World Cup, and now they're bringing Karim Benzema back, and he's finally back into their squad after like that whole incident, whatever it was. So I really, really think that France have the strongest team. I just, I think they're going to win it. I don't know.
No, I mean, confident in your home nation's chances this time?
Well, like, being American, I kind of am like, well.
Sorry, I'm totally mixed up with the Madrid side of things again. But
yeah, so
your hometown. Let's just say your hometown then. How is the Spanish sort of confidence going right now?
I'll have to read the newspapers and do like a video on it, but like, I didn't recognize a lot of players. Like, my husband said it's a very young team. So I still need to look into it. No players from Real Madrid made the squad. So I think that kind of tells you all that you need.
That must be the first time in a very long time.
In 100 years or something ridiculous like that. So I don't know about Spain. Like I think their players, I don't recognize a lot of players, so I still need to look into it. But I need to support Spain for them. And then obviously there's a lot of players in the England squad, so I'm kind of like Spain and England. You know, the US never really wins anything in these global competitions, so it's unusual for me to support a team that would get really far.
Oh, that's it. Did you guys just concede a late goal to Mexico or something in one of the games?
We won the CONCACAF, I can't pronounce it, Nations League yesterday. It was insane. Yeah, we beat Mexico 3-2 in extra overtime. They scored within a minute. Gio Reyna from Dortmund scored, and then they scored in like the 78th minute, and then we scored in like the 80-something minute, and then Christian Pulisic scored the winning penalty. So.
Oh, there's another one. Just drop another one in. They're all over the place, these Chelsea players right now. I'm telling you. I tell you what, though, in terms of weeks and football results for you, Elizabeth, you've had a pretty good run.
I know.
A very good couple of weeks.
When's that going to happen again?
That's it. There's a question from a Chelsea fan, believe it or not, for me. Adam, do you think Pogba will stay at United for long because of the way the team is run? I would doubt if he can. Will be. I think he said that wrong there, but yeah, I understand what you mean. I don't know. Pogba's a tough one. I wouldn't give him 500 grand a week. I know that, which is what his idiot of an agent is asking for him to stay. I think that's just too far for me. I would like Pogba to stay, but for 100 grand a week, for 500 grand a week, wow, it's over 2 million a month. It's a lot of money for one player who hasn't been consistent enough. He really has not.
That's too much.
I think we're talking Ronaldo and Messi wage sort of territory there. There's only them two, I think, could demand that for the output that they put in season after season, no matter where they play. I think that's their wages. Pogba's just not at that level. As good as he is, if he wants that money, he can go. I'll have to just take what's coming. But unfortunately, he will be sold, and then we probably won't invest that money back into the team. So that pretty much answers that question, which is another dampener. But it is. It's sad to say, but we don't work like Chelsea do. And you know what? It now looks, Elizabeth, like that Hazard money has been well and truly spent. Because I think, what was it now? It was funny. You mentioned it before, because Hazard joined Chelsea because they were champions of Europe.
Yeah.
The season he left, they became champions of Europe. That is.
I feel so bad for him, honestly. Like, he's just had a mayor the past 2 seasons at Madrid, and like, I don't know if you saw like a Chiringuito, like that after Chelsea beat Madrid in the Champions League, and Hazard was like out joking with the players, and then there was like that video that went viral of it was like a Spanish TV program. I messaged one of my friends who's a Real Madrid supporter. I was like, "Hey, is this a joke? Like, is this supposed to be ironic?" And he's like, "No, that's real." Like, and they're saying like, "Oh, Hazard hasn't done anything at 2 years of Madrid, and we pay all this money for him, and he's just sitting on the bench and eating hamburgers and showing up over." I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, Real Madrid, like, fans really don't tend to rate Hazard. It's really sad because we know, watching him from the Premier League, what an incredible player he is, and it's just like the injuries, he just can't shake them. I hope that he has a good Euros. I really, really do.
This is an impossible question right now. I honestly think that international football suits Southgate. I don't think he will ever make it as a club manager. I really don't. I think international management, you get what you're given, and I think he's lucky to have the squad. I don't think any club in England with that amount of quality in their team, i.e. one of the top 4, top 6, would take Southgate as a manager. So anywhere else that he goes, I just don't think he will look as good as what he is now, because he has such a talent pool to pick from. That's my opinion. No, I'd probably keep Ollie. As crazy as that sounds, I wouldn't take Southgate at Manchester United. No, I would not. Guys, we're coming to the end of the show. 45 minutes in. It is crazy how quickly these shows are going at the moment. You can tell there's no football going on. These conversations are flowing. I just want to say a quick thank you for everyone in the comments, to the mods, to everyone who's posted questions in there, for tuning in with us as well. Mainly, I just want to thank Elizabeth for coming on the show again. Elizabeth, just give the people a quick shout out to your channel and where they can catch you. Just coming up to 8,000 on YouTube, is it now, Elizabeth? Nearly there?
Yeah, I'm almost at 8K on YouTube, so you can find me at Elizabeth Helenek, and I do Chelsea content, but I also do like FPL content when the season's on, and I'll be doing the Euros. I just hit 40K on Twitter, which is like insane. So you can find me at Ellie_Helenek. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a blast per usual.
Always. And we will have to do another catch up when the Euros is finished as well, because then we'll be talking full on pre-season, and who knows who would have been bought by then and who's in whose Premier League pre-season squads. We will have to wait and see, guys. But don't forget, guys, on your way out, give the video a like and share the video on all your social platforms. It is much appreciated. If you are tuning for the first time, that subscribe button is right there just below Elizabeth. Give it a click and follow me, because tomorrow the Transfer Bollocks show is back. As I like doing these shows because they're off the cuff. It is just what it is, and we're just taking this window for whatever it is, which is, I think, a load of hot air. But we will see if I'm wrong. But guys, do join me tomorrow midday for that show as well. I will see if anyone is joining me. I will keep you posted on that as well, guys. But for now, we are finished. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the Euros. If I don't see you before then, it starts this Friday. I will be back before then with another video, obviously. But England watch-alongs are happening, guys. Believe it or not. Yes, they are happening. So make sure you do stay tuned for all the information on that as well, because I do post a lot on social media and on the community posts on YouTube. For now, we're done. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.